You hold it right there. I said stop!
Huh? What's that about?
Ain't nowhere left to run.
Hey, what's all the fuss?
This poor boy stole an apple that was out for sale.
That true, you little brat? I know you can hear me. Is it?
What else was I to do? I was starving to death!
A thief, then. Justice must be served.
No! Let me go!
If you want fruit, buy it.
With what coin? My mom and dad died in the war. We've got nothing at home!
Just come quietly.
Wait. Let him go.
And why should I do that?
Because I'm gonna pay for the apple. Now will you let him go? I'm telling you, he won't do it again. I'm taking him under my wing.
I don't care what you do with him, long as I get my money. Just tell him we'd better not catch him stealing again.
Why did you help me?
Dunno. Guess it just felt like the right thing to do. Now, you're gonna promise me that you're done thieving. For good.
On my parents' graves. Thank you. The both of you.
Letting him off with a mere promise. I pray he keeps it, but I have my doubts.
In a world like this, sometimes you can't help but stoop to stealing. I should know. That's how I made it this far.
But it's no longer how you live now. Is that so?
You damned right. Even when we were bandits, my pa always told me never to steal from the poor. I've got no need for a world where the rich get richer. So I never once thought what we were doing was wrong. We were noble bandits, allies of the poor and the suffering. That was the oath I took, and I meant every word of it.
None of that excuses thievery, which you've sworn to House Wolfort you're done with.
I know that, of course, but...
What?
Well, Pa now makes an honest living helping people. Me, on the other hand... There's gotta be something I can do to help the poor.
Never saw myself coming this far just to be scrubbing the decks on some ship.
Quiet. This is an important job, even if you think it beneath you.
I meant no disrespect. It's just that my brother and I always figured we'd be passengers on a ship like this.
I see. Was he fond of ships?
Not as such, no.
What's that?
It's my brother. Or rather, his ashes, anyhow.
Oh,
Made a promise to him when we were still small, you see. When he got better, I told him we'd set off to wherever we wanted, eat whatever we wanted, see things nobody'd seen. He always dreamt we'd find a paradise of our own and live like kings. But he never so much as left his sickbed, let alone the duchy itself. I'm a terrible brother. Broke my word. As soon as I saw this ship, it all came flooding back.
you needn't punish yourself. You did all you could to protect him.
Thank you. I appreciate the kind words, but what's done is done.
I refuse to accept that. Nothing is ever final. And I dare say, the weather is fair enough for a short test cruise.
We can just take the ship out for a joyride? Don't we need his lordship's permission?
I am my own person and responsible for my own actions, and the consequences of those actions. Besides, I must ensure that the ship is in working order. And you deserve a reward for your labor today. I am certain we can handle ourselves if we work together.
Don't need to tell me twice. The sea air feels wonderful. I had no idea a breeze could feel so good. You never got to go outside, you know, on account of the sickness. You just lay there, staring at the ceiling. But now we can finally see the bright blue sky and feel the winds uncaged. If only one of his dreams is fulfilled, I'm glad it's this one. Thank you, Anna. This has turned into a fine way to honor his memory. He's free now.
There is no need for thanks. This is my job.
So you say. That don't mean I can't be grateful.
All right, form a line. A proper line. No need to fight, there's enough for all of you.
You seem busy. Let me help.
Anna, good to see ya.
Prepare for another wave. I've spread the word about your operation.
Is it really true? Are you giving out free bowls of stew?
Hey, I know that face.
Huh, it's you, miss! I didn't know you were friends with House Wolfort.
Well, I am. And it's good to see you well.
I've kept my word. No more thieving. I've apprenticed myself at the docks. They're teaching me how to work the ships.
Sounds like you have a bright future ahead of you. Well done.
I sure do. So long as you help House Wolfort end this war. And quick.
Oh, I will. I swear it.
How long you gonna keep us waiting? I'll collapse if I don't get some stew!
Quit your belly aching! You'll get your bowl soon enough! Alright, you. Run along and get in line. You'll get your fill.
You got it.
Well, it seems your food kitchen has been an unqualified success. Morale is higher than ever.
But we can't possibly do this every day. So long as the war keeps raging on, all the stew in the world won't make that boy, these people, whole. We've got to end it somehow, don't we? Well, if that boy can be true to his word, I reckon I can too.
I have faith in you.
Then why don't you help me clean up here so we can get some training in?
I appreciate you coming all this way, Roland.
I was the one who asked for your time, so it is only natural I make the journey. I wish to tell you that I finally made up my mind.
And I would hear your decision if you were willing to share it with me.
I've long pondered over the one thing.
You are certain Hyzan's army marches for the Grand Norzelian mines?
There is no doubt.
They've heard word of the crystals.
It was only a matter of time. We knew this.
Esfrost's army gathers at Twinsgate as well.
War's breaking out over this thing, and we've got to be ready.
How will Glenbrook respond, King Roland?
There's no need to prepare for war. I have decided that we will surrender the salt crystals to the holy state of Hyzant.
What?
Furthermore, I hereby declare that the kingdom of Glenbrook and its people shall submit to the goddess and her teachings. There is no way to bring happiness to all Norzelia with the salt crystals, which is why I have chosen a path that will allow the greatest number of people to live in equality and harmony.
How could you? Do you not see that Hyzant's dominion over Norzelia's salt is why we are in conflict already? Is the suffering of the Rizal not proof enough that the goddess's vaunted equality is a lie?
She speaks the truth, my king. Handing over the salt crystals is tantamount to giving Hyzant's goddess free reign of Norzelia. Will you so readily surrender the realm to the Hierophant?
I acknowledge the abdication of my kingdom and kingship alike. A small price to pay in my eyes, in exchange for the security and prosperity of the many.
And the sacrifice of the Rizal, is that a small price to you?
It is.
How could you say such a thing to my face?
I, for one, oppose. I would prefer to ally with Esfrost and strike back at Hyzant. The salt deposits within the mines give us the leverage we need to convince Gustadolf to join us.
Ally with Esfrost? You dare suggest we ally with the man who murdered my father?
I see no reason why we should not. You proposed abdicating the throne for the sake of the kingdom and its people. So you should have no trouble putting aside your own feelings and judging this matter dispassionately.
I cannot believe my own ears. I will not have you lecture me on feelings when it is not your father he murdered.
None of you can see beyond your own grievances. It's no wonder my people have suffered for generations. We're told to believe in the goddess, while our own lives are thrown away to make a few more grains of your precious salt. And now, even with proof that the goddess is a lie, you would watch us dig our own graves for your comfort.
Lady Frederica, please. We shall speak of the Roselle in due time.
No, I've heard that before. Your due time is never, and I will not have you cast us aside for another 3 decades or more. All else is in disarray. If Hyzant seizes the salt crystals, we forfeit the best opportunity in decades to free my people. We know the truth. We must act upon it. We must be a light in the darkness.
We cannot afford to dilute our forces when the enemy marches on us as we speak.
So we are a distraction to you?
I am merely being rational. Liberating the Roselle would be extremely dangerous. We cannot take such a risk. Suppose we succeed. How do you propose we fend off the fury Hyzant will rain down upon us?
Esfrost would pounce on us, sensing weakness at the undue burden we've taken upon ourselves.
Precisely. We would be without allies and ripe for the taking.
There is another way.
And what, pray tell, would that be?
We set out alongside the Roselle in search of Centralia.
Centralia is a myth.
The legends of my people are true.
I care not one whit if they are. I will hear no talk of forsaking the Wolfort domain.
Silence! I have heard enough to know where each of you stand. Do you all hold the courage of your own convictions?
I do.
Nothing I've heard here has swayed me.
I feel the same.
Very well. I would ask for some time to think on the matter. I understand each of you keenly, my friends. You have not arrived at these decisions lightly, and I do not doubt your convictions. Yet choosing any of the options before me risks creating a schism among the others. I cannot afford to lose any of you, not after how far we've come. Which leaves me only one option. mustn't give in so readily. There must be another way. One that will bind us together, not tear us asunder. Now then, to find it. Certainties first. We cannot afford to relinquish control of the salt crystals to any one nation. Salt necessarily belongs to the people, and on that point I shall not waver. There must be a way to bring about the lasting peace Roland desires without the need for Hyzant's warped teachings. Hyzant moves to take the Grand Norzellian mines as I contemplate this. It must be stopped. They will no doubt make an ostentatious show of power in an attempt to intimidate us. What's worse, they'll soon be at our door, and we'll not defeat them with our army alone. Surely there's a way we can hold them off. The wildfire, of course! We'll draw them into the village and set the vast majority of their forces alight. The Hierophant will never relent, however. Hyzant will bear down on us with the full force of their army. We've no chance of winning a protracted war. Hyzant must fall, and quickly. We need Esfrost. We need the Death Snow. 'Tis the only way we'll pierce the goddess's shield. I hardly relish the thought of asking Gustadolf to come to our aid. He'll no doubt demand the salt crystals in return. Who might help us get our hands on that weapon? Lord Svarog, yes! He swore to fight alongside us. It's time he made good on his word. We share a common enemy in Gustadolf. He'll be a boon! There is still the matter of how we invade Hyzant and incite the Roselle to rebel. Yes! We'll blast away the statue and reveal Hyzant's lies for all to see. If the Rosellan legends are true, an enormous pillar of salt rests within the goddess's statue. Revealing that will prove that the Roselle spoke truth all these years. Goddess and Hierophant alike will lose all claim to authority, leaving them open to a revolt from a united Roselle. And now we have the means to make the explosives that will bring Hyzant to its knees. Just one problem remains. How will we manage to pass through the goddess's shield? No banner could pass into Hyzant without arousing suspicion. Unless they've no banner at all. The consortium, of course. One glimpse of the salt crystals ought to bring Claris to the table. So long as I play to his self-interest, the rest will follow. I have it. I've found a way to give everyone what they want most in one fell swoop. The salt crystals will belong to all, and not just a privileged few. The people of Norzellia will finally be lords and ladies of their own making, masters of their own destinies. Benedict's fervent desire to protect the domain's integrity, Roland's yearning for equity, Frederica's resolve to free her people. I hear you all, my friends. You're not alone, nor are the countless others who look to me at this late hour. If ever there were a time to heed my father's last words, it is now. I must forge my own path and lead my people. The scales cannot save us this time. The words of my closest confidants have revealed a way forward that the scales never could. All that remains is to convince them to follow me down the path I have made. As Lord of House Wolford, I solemnly swear an oath by which all future lords shall be bound. I will never turn my back on the promise of a better world.
Thus did Serenoa ascertain the Scale's true purpose. Taking up the mantle of his late father, Lord Simone, and the ill-fated Dragan, Serenoa returns to present his allies with a bold new vision for Norzelia's future.
I have made up my mind. We turn the salt crystals over to no one, but we do not keep them for ourselves. Instead, we distribute them equally to every person across Norzelia and change the face of the continent.
Do you hear yourself?
Do you mean this sincerely, Serenoa?
What of the Roselle?
I speak my conscience, and I promise I have not forgotten the Roselle. Pray, grant me the time to explain my strategy. We must put an end to the teachings if we are to release the salt to all Norzelians. Which is to say, the holy state of Hyzant must fall.
So we are to take up Benedict's proposal?
No. I propose we attack on 3 separate fronts.
At the same time?
We will use our domain's wildfire to prevent Hyzant from capturing the mines. Meanwhile, I wish to negotiate an accord with Esfrost that affords us use of the Death Snow. I know full well the risks involved. However, I believe we can convince Svarog, who opposes the Archduke, that an alliance is worthwhile. Finally, we expose the falsehoods that prop up Hyzant's precious teachings and incite another Rosellan uprising. In one fell swoop, we can abase the Hierophant and throw the capital into chaos. That accomplished, we shall sack the Holy State with Esfrost at our side. With both the source and the crystals in our possession, no one in Norzelia will ever want for salt. We can bring peace, equity, and stability to all Norzelia, just as Roland envisioned. We can restore the Wolfort name to its former glory and usher it into a new era, as Benedict desires. An era, my dear Frederica, in which the Roselle shall be free once and for all. What I ask may sound impossible, but we have survived long odds before. Let us cling together and do so once again. Do any present have objections to the path I have set before us?
None for me, lad. You've quickened the very blood in my veins.
Permit me to speak plainly, Your Majesty. I am in agreement with Lord Serenoa.
We cannot dream our desires into reality. Some things must be fought for and won.
We've tried your way, Benedict. It's time we tried something new.
What say you 3?
I am ashamed to admit that my obsession with the domain's safety may have blinded me to more aggressive solutions. Your plan is audacious, perhaps even reckless, but it is not impossible and may well be worth the risk. House Wolford is better for having you at its helm, Lord Serenoa.
The fate of my people always felt so small compared to the war raging around us. Yet you would still choose to walk a dangerous path, rather than cast the Roselle aside. It would be my honor to fight alongside you, and see this through.
I honestly thought Hyzanth would rule better than I could. That they would bring prosperity to Norzelia. I shrank from my duties and lost myself to the idea of revenge upon Gustadolf. I may well have betrayed my own kingdom. But you, Serenoa, opened my eyes to the truth. And for you, my friend, as King of Glenbrook, I shall face any enemy and lead our people to glory.
Then we've no need of the scales. Our path is decided. From here on out, we shall split into 3 regiments. Allow me to explain the role each has to play. I pray that clarifies what each regiment needs do. Prolonging the war risks slowly driving the 3 kingdoms to ruin and starving their people in the process. Not to mention, all involved will lose sight of what they were fighting for, if they haven't already.
Agreed. 'Tis for the good of all if we bring it to a swift and decisive end.
And so we find ourselves contemplating war on 3 fronts.
Hyzanth and Esfrost aren't expecting such drastic action from us. The element of surprise may deliver us victory.
As will the leader of each regiment involved in this gambit.
I shall lure the Hyzantian army to their doom here at Castle Wolford.
Svarog knows who I am, and swore he would fight alongside me. I shall depart for Esfrost and hold him to his word.
Pray, let me be the one to journey to Hyzanth. I would love nothing more than to expose their false idol for all to see, and lead my people to rebel in the name of freedom.
Then I shall secure the help of Claris of the Consortium, in exchange for information about the salt crystals. He can secret you inside the capital, and provide you with explosives enough to fell the goddess. Though we fight on distant fronts, we are bound together in spirit. We fight to the last, for Norzelia!
For Norzelia!
No, it can't be. General Avlora? Of the Asfrosti army?
Former General. I come to you now as a citizen of Norzelia, nothing more. I come to House Wolfort in search of sanctuary. I beg you, have the mercy to take me in.
Wait here.
General Avlora, we thought you missing.
Indeed, it was your actions that caused my brief disappearance, though I bear no grudge for how the battle ended. This time, however, I come to you with a humble request. I wish to join your ranks, if you'll have me.
You wish to defect? To what end?
That we may bring this fraught and fractious chapter of Norzelia's history to a close. I would see those of Lady Cordelia's generation preside over an era of peace and tranquility. You've every right to doubt me when I say Lady Cordelia has touched me. But I swore to be her sword forevermore, not Esfrost's.
We have long been enemies. You've taken much from us in Esfrost's name. I know you to be many things, General Avlora, but a schemer and a liar are not among them. I trust that you speak true, and your talk of a swift end to this conflict appeals to me. We are of the same mind.
My lord.
Nevertheless, there remains bad blood between us. There may be some within our ranks who are less than pleased to see you.
I expect there will be. I understand their hurt, and have made my peace with it. I will suffer their slings and arrows gladly, if it means bringing peace to Norzelia.
I admire your conviction. In truth, we have already arrived at our decision. Your strength is a boon we can neither hope to replicate nor replace. I welcome you, General Aurora, to House Wolfort.
My sword is yours, Lord Serenoa.
Now, Serenoa, let us divide House Wolfort into 3 regiments.
I leave the allocation of forces in your capable hands.
Choose wisely. Once the plan is in motion, we won't have the luxury of adjusting our strategy.
Understood.
Hyzant raises their army on the presumption they can seize the Grand Norzelian mines for themselves. The Hierophant has ordered them to destroy House Wolford as well. We, however, will not yield. The salt crystals are ours, and we will defend them with our lives. Hyzant shall bend the knee at the tip of our blades. Their army may have the advantage of numbers, but even that will mean naught against our wildfire traps. The Hyzantian army blindly obeys the Hierophant. But the Hierophant has no power here. We choose our own path, and we have the courage of our convictions. This battle is but the first step on the path Lord Serenoa has laid before us. Let us take this first step together and rejoice. For Norzelia, now and forever.
Twins Gate is sealed. Gusadov hardens his defenses at the encampment within. We will approach the gate and request an audience. We may yet find common ground with Esfrost. The Duchy wields the Death Snell, a weapon capable of reducing the goddess's shield surrounding Hyzant to rubble. We need that weapon if we are to break the Holy State's stranglehold on Salt, and thus Norzelia. I know this may feel a betrayal to some of you. Esfrost invaded us. They are the enemy. They murdered my father and brother, and I will never forget nor forgive them for it. But I believe if Father were still here, he would see that I go to Esfrost for the right reasons. That I ask them for aid so that we may thrive. For above all, a king's duty is to his people. And I would sooner cast out the shadows of the past by building a brighter future than lament our lot in life. I ask for your aid in building that bright future. Let us walk the path set before us by Serenoa, and lead Norzelia into a new era of peace and prosperity unlike any we've known.
To the plan. We shall slip into the capital of the Holy State, disguised as a band of merchants from the Norzelia Consortium. Lord Claris has taken on no small amount of risk in agreeing to help us gain entry. We are truly in your debt, Lord Claris.
I stand to gain more from a liberated Norzelia, where Hyzant no longer dictates the terms of trade and commerce. In short, spare no extra thoughts for me. This is as much a business consideration as it is helping those in need.
As he says, this is for the future of Norzelia. We now endeavor to destroy the goddess's likeness that serves as a pillar of their teachings. If the Rosellan legends are true, we will find that the statue concealed a massive pillar of salt that was stolen from my people. This salt pillar is incontrovertible proof that the teachings and the goddess around which they are built are lies. The faithful will be shaken to their core, and the Hierophant's power will wane. With luck, we may even show the Roselle they were without fault, inciting them to rise once more and cast off the yoke of their oppressors. This is nothing less than a battle to wrest control of Norzelia from the clutches of a capricious and vengeful goddess. Have you prepared the explosives, Lord Claris?
Prepared and loaded onto a cart, my lady. Enough to bring the goddess back to Earth, I should think.
Excellent. Then let us depart.
You are a marvel, Lady Frederica. A Rosellan with Esfrosti blood, fighting under House Wolford's banner. Who better than you to challenge Hyzant's tyranny? Do you not feel the weight of destiny upon you?
This is not destiny, Lord Claris. Nothing could be less certain than the moment in which we find ourselves. Serenoa and I have traveled a long, hard road together. It brought us here, but it does not end here. And so we walk on.
Now you seek to fell the goddess. You are possessed of an iron will, if you'll forgive the expression.
I shall take that as a compliment. Watch over us, Mother.
From across the border, the Hyzantian army marches, its sights set on the Grand Norzellian mines. At its head is Exham Marshal of the Saintly Seven. Seizing control of the Salt is not his sole objective. He has come to investigate disturbing rumors that Serenoa Wolffort has forsaken the blessing of the goddess. Knowing the answer to that question and the repercussions it will provoke, House Wolffort and its allies have carved out a strategy on which their survival will hinge. They will divide their forces into three, each acting in concert to outwit their adversary. Roland will lead a company to the Asfrosti border, where they will entreat Lord Svarog for his support and the use of his death's knell. Frederica will lead her own retinue to the source to reveal the lies of the goddess's teachings and rouse the Roselle to action as her mother did before her. Benedict will remain in the Wolffort domain, ready to risk all in an effort to stave off the Hyzantian army. United by their faith in Serenoa's vision, each takes to their preparations with resolve, understanding fate's judgment is at hand.
Minister Exham has arrived with the full might of Hyzant in tow. He requests a parley. How diplomatic of him, considering his forces already surround the castle. Doubtless he'll demand that we surrender the salt crystals, and that we bow our heads low to the Hierophant. We'll deny him, of course, and a battle will follow. We must make ready. The common folk have been led to shelter, and we have oil aplenty. All that is left is to steel our resolves. Although our forces are fewer, we have the advantage of terrain. Prudent use of our traps will turn the tide of battle in our favor.
A new future is before us. A bright future. But first, we must carve our way through to it.
These traps will set our foes aflame, but at the cost of the city. We survived one battle without resorting to them, but the stakes have risen substantially. However, any means shall be justified by the end we fight for, the future we fight for. I will do what I must to win. To that end, I would survey the terrain one final time. My lord, allow me.
Of course.
House Wolfort certainly has a curious way of greeting visitors.
As the Holy State has a curious way of announcing its arrival. I believe we can dispense with the formalities. We won't capitulate to your show of force.
Then you turn your back on the Holy One?
That is correct. You will not step foot inside the mines. You will not lay a single finger on the salt crystals.
I hope you understand the gravity of your words. The salt crystals represent the power to rule over Norzelia. You're a fool if you think we will let you have them.
It represents much more than that. It represents the end of your tyranny, the end of the suffering you've inflicted on our realm for generations. You care not for the happiness of the common people, nor do you give a whit for our house's survival.
And I take it that means you intend to survive this little outburst of yours. Allow me one question then. What will you do with the salt crystals?
We will set right this world you've corrupted.
What fools you are. You would orchestrate your own destruction for something as uncertain as what is right. A pity. I had hoped young Serenoa would be a strong ally. A shame he has chosen a false cause.
History shall attest to the justice of our cause and the wickedness of yours.
I needn't await history's judgment, Benedict. You and yours are naught but heretics, and you shall share the fate all heretics share. In the name of the goddess, I declare your lives forfeit. Show the Wolfort curs no quarter. Put every last one of them to the sword.
They come. Our future lies before us. Whatever we may lose in the moments to come, we will lose much more if we do not drive Exham back.
Today, we fight not for glory or pride, but for survival. For the future.
Our enemy comes to us prepared to die. Let us show them swiftly off this mortal coil.
Today, they learn there is no comfort in numbers. Drive those zealots from our home once and for all.
All troops, forward! Show no mercy!
Realize the gulf between our skills.
Choices.
Here goes.
My time to shine!
For the greater good.
Feisty, aren't we?
I shall try my level best. This must work.
From where shall we strike?
I'll take you on! Looks like I'm up.
You are not worthy of my time.
My turn.
I must keep a clear mind. Let me help.
Reminds me of my youth.
Now what to do?
Count on me.
Realize the gulf between our skills.
Come on, then.
Ready for battle. Yeah! You're done for!
Let us try out their weakness.
For the honor of House Wolford. Unite under the Wolford banner!
Oh, now that feels good. Come at me! Push on through!
My turn.
Now then. It's nothing personal. Shall we begin?
I'll do my utmost. I'll try my best.
Right then, what's next?
Now what to do? Now it's my turn.
Time to work.
You are not worthy of my time.
I'll end you!
Let us try out their weakness.
For the honor of House Wolford.
I'll take you on!
I won't waste this boon.
Whatever it takes.
Allow me. I saw that.
Now what to do? Weaken to my wiles.
Is it my turn? Faster!
Much appreciated.
Realize the
I will
gulf
end
between
this.
our skills.
Come on, then.
There is no mercy on the battlefield. A brief rest.
You're kind to me. Make way! My time to shine!
For the greater good.
Shall we begin? Defeat is not an option.
Your orders? You won't reach me. Shadows conceal me.
I've been waiting for this!
Is it my turn?
Faster!
We'll get him yet.
No need to panic. Time to end this.
Choices, choices.
You are not worthy
Come on,
of my
then.
time.
I'll do my utmost.
Point me at him! That worked, huh? Yeah, bullseye!
I ain't that
I see
slow.
a path to victory. A brief rest.
Splendid.
Nice try!
From where shall we strike? Perish. Maybe next time. Shall we begin?
Is it my turn? Can you handle this?
Come at me! Look to my shield!
Allow me.
Let's play. Think you can catch me? Dance poison!
For the greater good.
Leave everything to me.
Point me at him! I'll end you! Perfect opportunity! defeating.
By the goddess, our numbers are dwindling. Leave them not a moment to regroup. Forward! A pathetic state I'm in. Me too!
My turn.
It's over.
Me too!
Let us pry out their weakness. This must work.
Defeat is not an option.
We'll see how certain you are of that when you're skewered upon my blade.
If you would make good on your threats, then come. It's a pity you won't see the brighter tomorrow in store for us. Death from above! You brute! That hit the mark.
Just for you.
Unthinkable. Victory was assured.
I'll try my best. Let time flow in reverse. Count on me. Come on!
Now what to do?
Now then. My specialty.
What?
Yeah!
Thirsty, aren't we? All or nothing.
Come at me! Look to my shield!
Your orders?
Allow me.
Me too!
Here goes. Take this.
Me too!
Let us pry out their weakness. That seemed to work.
Defeat is not an option. Use this!
For the greater good. May all your wounds be healed. You're a lifesaver. Choices.
It's been fun.
My turn.
This is the end.
Now then.
getting away.
Leave everything to me. Here goes! They got me.
I'll try my best. You'll feel this later.
Make way! I'll end you! Ow!
Done it now! Done it now! I'll show you what I'm made of! Look to my shield!
I'll do my utmost. Here you go.
That's the stuff!
I see a path to victory.
You have nothing left.
Defeat is not an option. This ends here!
I will end this.
This is the end.
Let's play. Good night! You are so nice.
I'll try my best. You'll feel this later.
No need to panic.
Done it now!
Now it's my turn. Was nice knowing ya.
Make way! I'll end you!
Me too!
For the greater good. Get the bed rest.
You won't beat me! Time to die!
Time to work.
Sound strike. It's over.
Let us pry out their weakness. Let us see our defenses.
From where shall we strike? Death from above!
Choices, choices.
Is it my turn? You'll feel this later.
Point me at him! My time to shine!
Leave everything to me.
For the greater good.
Looks like I'm up.
I will end this. I will leave you defenseless.
Allow me.
Close, but not quite. I'll take you on! You're done!
Where did they find this resolve? What fuels their spirits against such odds?
The day is lost. We must retreat. You've won this battle, but the war is not over.
And mark my words,
I will crush your pitiful resistance with my own hands.
They flee with their tails between their legs. The cowards will think twice before trying us again. Hold your heads high, brave men and women of House Wolfort.
For today is ours!
For House Wolfort!
Roland's forces march for Twinsgate, gateway to the nation of Esfrost. Their mission is to secure the power of the Death Snell, Esfrost's fearsome cannon, a weapon powerful enough to shatter even the impregnable goddess's shield. Whether this action ends in alliance or bloodshed depends on the judgment of Svarog, who had once promised to aid the fledgling king. However, with storms of intrigue brewing, who can say which way the wind will blow?
Work on the Death Snell is complete then?
Just so. I have already ordered the cannon transported to Twinsgate. We shall use it to crush any who would dare attack us. Then turn it upon the goddess's shield.
Admirably done, Uncle.
I did not do this to earn your praise. You will fulfill your promise.
Of course. In recognition of your service, I hereby appoint you Prime Minister of Esfrost.
An honor to be sure. Let us weather this storm together, Gustadolf.
I'm afraid that's not quite in the cards. Sigrus?
Prime Minister Svarog Esfrost. You stand accused of illicitly smuggling salt for your own profit.
What is this madness?
We've recovered ledgers from Twinsgate, outlining every detail of your crimes. I advise you not to resist.
You are hereby stripped of your authority as Prime Minister. You will be imprisoned in jail until you are judged in the days hence.
You snake! Your only intent was to steal my creation! A creation that would not exist, save for these crimes you accuse me of. All I did for Esfrost.
Of course. Your accomplishments are not to be denied. Should you wish to argue your case, your argument will be heard.
I knew you to be cunning, Gustadolf, but I did not think you so cold as to betray your own flesh and blood. But now I see the truth. I see who was behind my son's murder.
Careful, Svarog. I advise you not to test the limits of my mercy. From this day forward, I shall be steward of Twinsgate. And I shall lead Esfrost to victory against her enemies. Take him away.
Curses! You damned traitor! Kinslayer!
Night comes. The road ahead is treacherous. Let's set our final camp here. On the morrow, we speak with Lord Svarog, steward of Twinsgate. He has promised to help us. I only hope he hasn't had a change of heart since then. However, he is not our only concern. Gustadolf's interference could bring an end to our plan before it begins. That being said, I believe with Svarog's assistance we can win support both from within and without. And the cannon will be at our disposal. Serenoa's strategy relies on the success of the negotiations ahead. We must steel our resolve and be ready for aught the morning brings. We're here, Twinsgate. I will let them know we come in peace. Everyone stand back. I am Roland Glenbrook, King of Glenbrook. I seek an audience with Lord Svarog. Hyzant marches upon the Grand Norzelian mines at this very moment. Their aim is the salt crystals we've recovered from the Earth. If their ambitions aren't put in check, all of Norzelia will be helpless to withstand the will of their goddess. This future Glenbrook cannot abide to pass. And I believe Esfrost is of the same mind. Let us join forces and drive them from our borders.
Your August Majesty, welcome. Had I expected your arrival, I would have prepared a suitable audience.
Gustadolf! What are you doing here? Where is Svarog?
Ah, I'm afraid he is otherwise indisposed. A little matter of treason, you see.
Let us join forces and drive them from our borders.
That voice. King Roland. He's come to make good on his word. You there! This may hurt. Gah! Gustadolf must think me frail indeed, to set such green soldiers at my guard.
So that's your gambit. Glenbrook and Wolford would risk everything in defiance of Hyzant. I admit you have better odds than anyone before you. Exposing the lies of the Church and inciting the Roselle to action would deal the Holy State a grievous wound.
But to approach for the killing blow, you must breach the shield. Something you could not do even with 10 times your current numbers.
And that is why you need me, or rather, my cannon. I suppose I had no reason to expect Cordelia would keep that a secret.
You've the right of it. Battle has already broken out in the Wolfort domain. Time is of the essence. Pray aid us, Archduke Gustadolf, that we might topple Hyzant's tyranny.
A noble goal. However, what do you intend to do with the salt crystals when this is all over?
We'll share the Earth's bounty with all of Norzelia, Esfrost included.
Oh, and for that, we would be forever in your debt. Is that what you expect from me? To grovel before you and sing your praises? What's to stop me from cutting you down where you stand and seizing the crystals for my own?
If that was an option, surely you would have done so already. Esfrost's remaining forces can hardly challenge Hyzant. And you know this. Even at full strength, you were loath to stand against them without Glenbrook's support.
Fair enough. But need I remind you, that plan was brought to ruins by you and yours when you entered under the protection of Hyzant. How many more times will you turn your cloaks before the day is done? And moreover, how could I trust a man who is so willing to plead with his father's murderer?
If there is aught I can offer as assurance, pray tell.
I only ask that you answer this question truthfully. Do you not desire vengeance for your father's death?
More than anything. Vengeance against you and your accursed Esfrost. However, I know I must leave such grudges in the past if we are to realize a brighter future.
Such ideals. Your home, your own flesh and blood was taken from you. You would answer that with forgiveness?
It is the only path. The righteous path.
Your conviction is admirable. For what it's worth, I actually believe you. Very well. As Archduke of Esfrost, I hereby offer my answer. I refuse.
What? Why?
It was I who unearthed the salt crystals, and it is I who shall decide who benefits from them. You would treat my discovery as your own, claim what is mine by rights. For this insolent act, you deserve death.
More lies! It was Dragan who discovered the salt crystals. My son!
Lord Svarog!
You managed to worm your way out of your cell. Had you stayed obedient a few moments longer, you might yet have lived.
Enough! I know you had Dragan killed and stole the salt crystals to feed your own insatiable ambition. That you were just far to frame Glenbrook speaks to the depth of your depravity.
Foolish ramblings. I did not think captivity would affect your mind so soon.
Silence! Your scheming has gone on for long enough. You judge others for taking what is yours, yet you do not scruple to seize upon the accomplishments of others. My son had his own ambitions. You fed off his success, then murdered him! As you surely would have done to me. My usefulness to you long since past.
The accused so often lash out blindly.
And now it is your turn, Gustadolf. Me and mine are not the only victims of your blind ambition. Thalis, Erica, even Frederica. All pawns to use as you saw fit. All to be discarded when their usefulness wore out. You would speak of freedom. The only freedom you care for is the freedom to sate your thirst for power. Loyal servants of Esfrost, see now the monster before you laid bare!
I was there when the Archduke received word of his siblings' deaths. He didn't even blink.
All this fighting. And for what? Do we have Glenbrook's blood on our hands?
This would mean you deceived all of Esfrost. That you led us into battle under false pretenses.
Sikrus, Svarog is in league with the enemy. Kill him now.
Answer me, Your Grace. Was it truly Glenbrook that ordered Lord Dragan's assassination?
Have you taken leave of your senses, fool? I said kill Lord Svarog. Now!
No. If you truly believe in the freedom you espouse, he deserves to be judged based upon the truth. Ah! Your Grace, what have you...
I'll suffer none to disobey me.
You spell your own doom, Gustadolf. By your own hand you have revealed what you truly are. A feral beast who must be put down. By my side, King Roland, I made a promise, and I intend to fulfill it here and now.
I'm with you, Lord Svarog. To my side, friends. Today we bring an end to the Archduke's tyranny and secure our future.
Those who disobey will not live to see the morning sun. Everyone, forward!
Now we repair the twisted form you have shaped Esfrost into.
Weapons at the ready! Advance!
I shall show you.
Prepare to face the Dawn Spear.
My turn. My lance strikes true.
Allow me. I don't pull my punches.
Here I come.
To work. Eat dirt!
Face me if you dare. I'll cut you all down. And now me.
It's time. Got it.
None will stand in my way.
Let me give it a try. If I do this, then...
That's it? Ah!
Nice try. Time for some research.
A cold wind blows.
I can do this! Stay strong!
If you wish to meet your end, then so be it. Our ideals can only be realized by dint of strength. Words and reason cannot compel otherwise. I had thought to teach this lesson by example of your father and brother. Alas, it seems my instruction was lacking.
I dreamt of killing you, Ghost Adolf. No matter how many days passed, my desire for vengeance did not wane. But now I feel hollow. I only wish this to end at last.
You could have chosen the easy path of submission. Alas, fools so rarely choose wisely. You should have let death take you, Avlora. It does not befit you to stand with these fools.
I have not forgotten my debt. That is why it is my duty to stop you.
You have stained the history of our nation with your betrayal. Allow me to deliver your just punishment. One of us falls today.
I shan't hold back. Your defenses crumble.
My turn. Yes!
Prepare yourself.
Yeah! Now!
The hunt is on. My name is Huette Bucklar of the Glenbrook Kingsguard. For your crimes against my country and my king, you shall pay with your life.
soldiers should swing their swords, not pass judgment. I shall teach you the importance of knowing your place.
Darkness engulfs you.
Ugh, such underhanded tactics.
None will stand in my way. I'll bring you down.
Let me return the favor.
My turn. You'll be nothing but a blood stain upon my blade.
Must remain calm.
Here you go.
Most appreciated. Ready.
Gotcha.
Well done.
Let me give it a try. That went well. I can do this. Let your wounds be healed.
Well done.
Be gone from my sight.
Where was I?
Such underhanded tactics.
On my honor as the Dawn Spear. It ends here. My turn. My last strike
I
is through.
show no mercy. Prepare yourself. This is it, Gustadolf. I've no words for you, but I'll deliver you quietly to your fate.
We shall see, Groma. I believe before the day is done, you'll have wished you had chosen a more quiet life.
Ha! Leave it to me!
Gustadolf Esfrost has only begun to fight. This is where you fall.
We doing this?
Gotcha!
Let yourself open.
All right, here I go. Here you
Most
go.
appreciated.
Flee while you have the chance. You were no match for me.
No, it cannot be.
It's over, Gustadolf.
You're beaten, Gustadolf. Any final words?
No. I lived how I deemed fit, and I shall die just so.
So be it.
King Roland, wait. Your reign has only begun. You needn't sully your hands with this foul deed. Allow me. I'll finish this on behalf of Esfrost.
As you will.
Get on with it. Avenge your son.
You stood ever apart, Gustadolf. 'Twas your greatest weakness, and perhaps your greatest strength.
We shall meet again before long, Uncle.
Gustadolf has paid for his crimes, and will commit no more. I shall succeed him as Archduke. And I pledge to assist Glenbrook in aught it requires to bring an end to Hyzant's tyranny.
Do you truly mean this, Lord Svarog?
My son had a vision for this realm. Were he still with us, I know he would stand with you, as I do now.
I thank you, my friend.
First order of the day. Get the knell moving. Our destination, the Goddess's Shield.
Aye!
As Benedict matches wits with Minister Exham at Castle Wolfort, and Roland risks the wrath of the Archduke at Twinsgate, Frederica embarks on her own mission. Under the false banner of the Consortium, she hides her forces, marching steadily toward the Hyzantian Holy State. With the aid of Claris, she aims to gain entrance into the Source, that she might lead her people from their prison. Meanwhile, in the Rosellan village, Jerome has gathered his people to share the news of Frederica's exploits.
Everyone, listen well. We've received a missive from Lady Frederica. It seems House Wolfort has made good on their word, and taken the first steps toward a new future for Norzelia. Even now, Lady Frederica marches for the Source, where she intends to free our brothers and sisters from their prison.
So bold for one so young. Truly, she is her mother's daughter.
In her letter, she outlines the details of her plan. The road ahead of her is trying, but not impossible. However, she warns that failure may incite Hyzant's wrath, and asks that we flee for our own safety. Even now, she has only our best interests at heart.
Were this letter to fall into the wrong hands, the results would be grave indeed. She risked much to warn us.
What should we do, my lord? Prepare to flee?
Yes, at once. But I do not ask all of you to flee. Lady Frederica risks life and limb for us all. I would not let her do so alone. I intend to go to her. Whatever danger she may face, we face it together.
You may meet with the full wrath of Hyzant. Are you ready for that?
Aye. And I welcome any who are of the same mind to join me. I ask the rest to watch well over those who would stay behind. If we do not return, I ask you to survive. To live.
These bones aren't too brittle for another fight. It's time to pay the debt we owe the Wolforts.
I'm with you. Norzelia will sing of the courage of the Roselle. We ain't letting you take all the glory, Jerome. You're gonna have to share it around.
The village will be in good hands while you're away. We won't let anyone do us harm.
Thank you, my friends. Those who would fight, take up your weapons and march. We make for Hyzant at once.
Aye!
I suspect soon we shall have a bird from Minister Exham bearing good news.
It shan't be long before the mines are under our dominion.
That's not my worry. I wonder whether the Wolforts will obey.
They owe us their lives, and more besides. They wouldn't dare scorn all the Hierophant has given them.
Even if they have no great love for our nation? Even if they've cast aspersions on our past deeds?
I advise you to be cautious with your words. You edge dangerously close to heresy. And not even one of the Saintly Seven is immune from the Goddess's judgment.
Of course. My apologies. Pray forget my foolishness.
So long as you understand. That being said, the Wolforts have but recently come into their station, and the inexperienced often reach beyond their grasp.
Where are you going?
To ensure the city is in order. My intuition tells me something wicked stirs within her streets. My long years have attuned me to her pulse, and I can tell when it is quickened.
I'll handle the guards. Don't move a muscle, any of you. Don't even breathe. Hail! I am Claris of the Consortium. I bring goods for trade in the city, if you'll give me leave to pass.
Claris! Consortium's working you hard.
In these dangerous times, 'tis a privilege to be in such good employ. But you worked even harder than I. Here, a small token of my appreciation.
You always have been a thoughtful man. Go on, then.
Wait. We cannot allow unscheduled goods into the city without inspection.
Fine. Guess there's no such thing as being too careful.
You needn't worry. Minister Kamsel of the Saintly Seven sent for these goods himself.
He did?
Oh, yes. Look closely, and you'll see.
What have you done? Ah, you snake! I must call for reinforcements!
Claris, are you all right?
My apologies. Luckily, mine was the only face they saw. Allow me to distract the troops. Use the opportunity to sneak into the source, my lady. Don't forget the explosives we've packed away, either. We'd make poor guests without them.
You're going alone? You risk too much.
Ah, my lady. But you do not become a merchant of my standing without a little risk. Pray save your worry for yourself. I've wagered quite a great deal on your success, after all. And I abhor calculating losses.
Thank you, Claris. I promise this arrangement will give cause to celebrate before long. My fellow Roselle, I am Frederica Esfrost, daughter of Orlea, who led you and your forebears from the bonds of servitude 30 years ago.
I knew I recognized you from somewhere. You're the spitting image of her. What's Lady Orlea's flesh and blood doing in this goddess-forsaken prison?
I am here to free you from it. I would see the end of Hyzant's tyranny alongside my betrothed, Lord of House Wolfort. Rise up and join us. Hyzant wavers even now, and the Roselle can be the gust of wind that topples them from their lofty heights.
You speak like her too. Same heartfelt words. But look where those got us.
We were lucky enough to be spared our lives once. They won't be so generous a second time.
We're still paying for our sins, for thinking the salt of the realm could be ours. The goddess will forgive us. She will. We only need suffer a short while longer.
Suffer? No! Don't swallow those lies!
Enough!
Minister Camsel, Claris, are you...
I'm sorry, my lady. I couldn't get away.
He has more resolve than a common merchant has a right to. Better men have broken under lesser interrogations than his. Still, I can always smell a rat. 'Twas only a matter of time before I caught the stench of rebellion. Led by none other than the Lady Frederica. I knew you could not change your nature. Your punishment shall be a lesson to your fellow sinners, just as your mother's once was.
I should have known. It was futile to resist.
Forgive us, goddess. It wasn't us that sinned.
No, it wasn't. And it never has been. The Roselle are guilty of naught but wanting the same freedom as others. You have been deceived by the goddess's lies. If my strength of conviction is not plain enough through words, then let my actions speak for me.
Heretics to the very last! Show them the full measure of the goddess's wrath! By the goddess, I shall not let heretics defile her sacred land. At my back, today we purge the sickness from our home.
Your cruelty has left the Roselle beaten and battered, bereft of the will even to anger at the injustice being done to them. However, today I will remind them. I will remind them they are worthy of more and reignite the courage within their hearts. Fight with me, friends! We march under the banner of freedom!
Shall we?
My turn.
Let the show begin! Whoopsie!
At your command.
Here I come!
Whatever it takes. This is far
I won't
from
let
over.
you down. Let me heal your wounds.
Decimal, taking off.
I shall repay you in
I will end this. Very well.
Prophet comes to the prepared.
There are always consequences. Oh! I leave no survivors.
At your command.
I won't stand for it! Coming through!
I hope you're watching, Grandfather. Ready to see a spell? Decimal, taking off.
Whatever it takes. We can do
I
this!
shall use it well. The heavens judge you. Tremble in fear! Ready or not, here I come!
Shall we begin? Victory goes to the quick.
That's a big help.
Allow me.
Prophet comes to the prepared.
I leave no survivors.
Coming through!
Are you in need?
Let the show begin!
Shall we?
Decimal, taking off.
I'll take it from here. This is far
You're
from
better
over.
than ever. Allow me. Time for some sorcery. Lightning!
Let me heal your wounds. Be at ease.
Very well. The gods, I can do it.
Prophet comes to the prepared.
Shall we?
My time has come.
Hardening my defense! Coming through!
Where's your next? Here I go!
Time to take action. We can do this!
I feel better than ever.
There are always consequences.
Allow me.
Have you brought cork?
Let me heal your wounds. Be at ease.
Time for some sorcery. Lightning! Behold true power.
Are you in need?
Ready or not, here I come!
Hope you're ready.
I leave no survivors.
I'll take it from here. We can do this!
I won't let you down! Behold! Behold! Herculean force!
Purge the heretic!
You cannot impede progress?
I will end this. 2 actions.
Let me heal your wounds.
Go swiftly. I shall make every effort.
Shall we?
My time is now. Stay down! Time for some sorcery. Ready to see it spell.
At your command.
Out of my way!
I'll do my best!
There are always consequences.
I shall hold nothing back! Ah!
Strike while the iron's hot. This is far
I won't
from
let
over.
you down! Me!
You cannot impede progress?
Let me show you what I've learned.
Let me heal your wounds. Be at ease.
Time for some sorcery. My time is now.
My time has come.
You dare take my shield!
Where's he next? Whatever you can do!
Hope you're ready.
Behold! Behold! Clap, 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 clap.
I'll take it from here. Will this work?
Lionel has arrived!
I fight for peace.
Cool heads shall prevail. Victory goes to the quick.
Appreciated.
Time for some sorcery. The fruits of my studies!
Goddess, give me strength to smite thine enemies!
My time is now. Silence!
At your command.
You dare take my shield! I see you!
Ready or not, here I come! Ready, set!
No. Why would you give them the strength and not I? What lesson do you mean to teach?
My turn.
Here I go! Clap, 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 clap. Whoa!
Whatever it takes.
Lionel has arrived! Don't underestimate Lionel!
I will end this. Stay right there!
My time has come.
Out of my way!
I shall do what I can. Be at ease.
Appreciate it.
Let the show begin! How about a me? Yeehaw!
Time for some sorcery.
Behold true power. Tremble in fear! Oh no!
Coming through!
Time to take action.
Allow me.
Are you in need?
On guard! Prophet comes to the prepared.
I shall do what I can.
Ready or not,
am at your back!
My turn.
They brought a saint to his knees.
And in our name, have we won? Is freedom at hand?
But the goddess... Our sins will never be cleansed if we leave. We'll forever bear the brand of thieves.
There are no sins to answer for. There never were. They were lies, just as the rest of the goddess's teachings. I've read the legends put to parchment by my mother. The Roselle never sought to hoard the salt for their own. No. They meant to use it for the good of one and all. They meant to share the salt crystals with every nation. It was Hyzant who sought to hide the crystals from the world. It is they who bear the sin of greed.
I've heard this story before. From Lady Orlea's lips.
But it's just a legend, isn't it? A legend doesn't prove her teachings false.
Not without proof, leastways.
There is proof. It's been here this entire time. Ready the explosives. We must destroy the statue.
All set here, my lady. Just give the word.
Look well, my people. Behold the truth of the teaching's deception. Behold the lies of the goddess.
The statue! What is that?
There's something inside. What is that? A pillar?
It's a salt crystal. A huge one.
Now do you see? Our forebears brought this bounty from the earth to share it with the world. This is the salt pillar from the legend.
To all the peoples of Norzelia, we bequeath a great pillar of salt. It's just as our ancestors said, carved right here into the crystal.
This crystal was meant to be a boon to all. But Hyzant stole it and hid it away.
They blamed us for their greed. All this time we've been paying for the sins of another. The so-called truths of the Church were naught but twisted versions of reality.
Just so. This statue was as hollow as the goddess herself, naught but a pretty facade to hide an unspeakable sin. A sin that Hyzant must now answer for. A sin that the Hierophant must reconcile.
What is the meaning of this? The statue! What have you done? The heretics desecrate our holy land! Heathens. They will pay for this. Kill them all!
No!
They come in numbers, my lady. We'll be surrounded before long.
We've come too far to submit now. I won't leave my people behind.
Lady Frederica fought for us, and now we must fight for her!
She aims to free us. But now, we must free ourselves. Let's walk out of here, hand in hand.
To arms, everyone! Pick up what you can find! Today we bid farewell to the source!
Aye!
My lord, the North Gate is under attack. Our soldiers cannot hold it. They ask for reinforcements at once.
What? What banner does our foe fly?
No banner, my lord. It's an army of Roselle. At their head is a youth named Jerome. He's spouting heresy, claiming he'll free his brethren from their bonds.
He came. Jerome is here.
Fortune smiles upon us, my lady. Where they once surrounded us, now they are beset on all sides. We have an opportunity.
Everyone, to the North Gate. We will join with Jerome and escape the capital.
Aye! Goddess, protect me!
Swayed by Frederica's words, the Roselle of the Source rise up to take their freedom from the clutches of their captors. Not long after, Byzantine forces encircle them, preventing their escape. But not all is lost. Jerome and the Rosellan villagers arrive just in time, throwing their foe into disarray and affording Frederica and the others a window to escape the capital. With the long-suffering sinners freed from their shackles, and the holy symbol of their faith destroyed, the people of Hyzant are left shaken to their very core. Frederica and the others take advantage of the ensuing chaos to reunite with their allies. Meanwhile, Benedict succeeds in driving Exham Marshal from the Wolfort domain, securing the safety of his home, hopefully for the final time. While at the borders of Esfrost, Roland succeeds in procuring the Death Knell, whose great blast will sound the end of Hyzant's reign over Norzelia. Together with Frederica, they take their first step into their new future. On the barren wasteland surrounding Hyzant, they gather, the goddess's shield towering before them, as Serenoa's plan reaches its climax.
I can't thank you two enough.
You needn't thank me. We're just helping each other out, no?
Indeed. I was in need of a few extra hands, so the help was more than welcome.
Still, I owe you two. I promise I won't forget this.
Was that Hasabara and Ian's? It seems you've been busy these days.
I had some favors to ask of them. Ever since my crew lost their jobs, I've been trying to help them find new ones. Then one day it hit me. I could have them work for those guys. They trust my crew and could keep a close eye on them.
I see. An admirable plan, if I do say so myself.
I thought the ones good with their hands could work at the smithy, and the talkers who know their liquor at Hasabara's tavern. Those two agreed without a second thought. Can't thank them enough.
It couldn't have happened without you, Travis. You know your crew's merits better than anyone else. And thanks to all your hard work lately, it seems both the tavern and smithy are back in business.
For a while, I wasn't sure what would happen to us, but it looks like we might be making an honest living after all. That's half a weight off my mind.
Would the other half happen to be your daughter?
Trish was born into the bandit life because of me. All she knows is thieving, so it ain't easy for her to just start living an honest life all of a sudden. I wonder how she's doing now. I just hope she ain't sad.
I don't think there's anything for you to worry about. She is your daughter, after all.
Yeah, boss. What are you doing here? I don't need you to cheer me up over my own daughter.
Boss, I heard something about that merchant what upset you the other day. They said he was sulking around town with lumps the size of melons on his head.
It wasn't me, I swear.
Then that must mean...
It's gotta be Trish. There's no way she'd let a bastard like him get away clean.
Like I said, there's nothing for you to worry about. Probably.
Oh, Trish.